Hey, sports porchers! It's your hockey Jesus, and I'm back with analysis of the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Carolina Hurricanes. Well, this ends the season series between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Pittsburgh Penguins, and tonight Carolina got their revenge in a 5-1 win. Just an absolute dominating performance this afternoon by the Carolina Hurricanes, who were not coming off of a back-to-back. Remember, some of those wins that the Pittsburgh Penguins were getting were because they had other teams coming off a back-to-back. Today, I think we were a little bit of a victim of that, but let's face it, Carolina is a great team. They showed it today, extremely dominating against the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're 30. They have 30 now, 31 wins when they score first of their 45 wins. And tonight showed why. They're just a different team when they get on the board first. They know how to, I don't want to say shut it down, but they just know how to play with the lead. And tonight they were absolutely dominating. I actually have some highlights that I was going to show, but it's just kind of disappointing to watch. And really, it's a bunch of nothing. It just shows that Carolina can get the puck up the ice when they get it in their zone. They're very good at attacking. When the Penguins were playing well, they were good at attacking the defensive zone and keeping it in the zone. And that's exactly what Carolina did today. Just a great win for Carolina. I'm not really going to go into too much of a detail. I'm not going to get too upset. I'm just not going to show too much emotion. This was a game where you expected the Pittsburgh Penguins to kind of lose the game. And I wish they didn't have to lose the game in the manner they did today, but they did. And it started right off the beginning. Ryan Shea got hurt in the first period of the last game. Was not able to go last game, was not able to go this game, which means Ryan Graves is in. He's healthy. He was playing good whenever he got called up the last time, earlier in the season. He didn't play so good today. First shift in, he gets a penalty, and Carolina just jumps all over that, and they get a power play goal less than a couple minutes in. A couple other puck luck goals by Carolina. It seems like Pittsburgh is not getting the puck luck, and that's okay. It will eventually happen. It spins around like that. That's the way hockey is. The shot by Aho went off a doer stick and went in. And there was another one that kind of went off a stick, Chinnikov's later. And so 2 of the 4 goals, I would say, were kind of puck lucky goals. But, hey, you got to shoot it. You got to be in the right positions. And Carolina did everything right today. So I don't want to say that they were lucky. They were far from lucky today. They were skilled today, and they absolutely whooped the Penguins' ass. Really the rest of the period was the Penguins looked terrible. The veterans didn't look engaged. Sid and Gino turning over the puck in the defensive zone. Sid, looks like he's trying, but I don't know. He's got to get that energy back with Rust and Raquel. Raquel sometimes just doesn't look like he's playing on the same level with Sidney Crosby when Sid comes back from injuries and things like that. But I'm not worried about that line. They'll get it together, and it's okay for them to take a night off every now and then, to completely be honest with you. And, you want them to play hard every night, but there's a lot of games in a row, and they got to really kind of, figure out their energy and how much to let out each night. Gino's took the last couple of games off. That's the only thing that's a little concerning to me. And with Colorado coming into town on Tuesday, it's not going to get any easier. So, we'll see what happens there. But in the second period, that's where Carolina really asserted their dominance. Sammy Girard got a cross-checking penalty, and the penalty kill just was 0 for 2 at that point. There was a slap shot on a bad clear by Achari, and Stu just couldn't get to it, and that's it, 2-0. Anderson looked really comfortable in goal tonight. The Penguins were not making it hard on him. They were not getting around him. They were not bumping him. They were letting him be comfortable tonight. That's one criticism I have of the Pittsburgh Penguins. They, when a goalie gets comfortable, the Pens don't seem to want to do anything about that. It seems like they're just okay with letting the opposite team just dominate and not allowing to get in front of the goal. They did get in front of the goal a little bit, but they weren't aggressive around the goal. They weren't bumping the goalie. They weren't making it hard on Anderson. So I didn't really like the way they were playing there. Chatfield got the 3rd goal. That was on that tip from Chinnikov. And this was all before the 19-minute mark, or right before the middle of the period. The Pittsburgh Penguins only had 11 shots on goals through 2 periods. That just showed you how good Carolina was clamping down and how difficult it was for the Penguins to, get any offense going. Carolina likes to ice the puck when they get into trouble. That seems like it's not a big deal at all. Brazeau got pulled down, and the Penguins did get a power play when it was 3-0, but it was really an uninspiring power play. Pittsburgh doesn't seem to have that power play moving like it did before. Hopefully they'll get a chance to work on that tomorrow. That's the problem with playing this many games back to back. You're not really going to be able to practice things out. Maybe they need a day off. Maybe they just need tomorrow off. Don't know what Muse is going to do tomorrow, but my guess is he'll probably have an optional skate for the boys. But yeah, Bad Gino shows up and he takes a penalty. Don't like Taylor Hall too much, to be completely honest with you. Brazeau just kind of went to get in his face and he flops, like a fish out of water. The guy's a big guy. I don't know why he has to flop like that. So both of those guys got sent off. Mantha, and there was a 3, that was it. Jarvis gets another penalty. Clifton was way out of position, didn't take the guy passing the puck to Jarvis, and Jarvis right in front of Stu just buries it. So that made it 4-0. Really, the game was over at that point, even though they had the third period to play. There were a couple of penalties in the third period. Chinnikov got the token goal, make it 4-1, and then Pittsburgh pulls their goalie, with 4 minutes left. So, Carolina's going to get an empty net, and so they did, making it the final score of 5-1. These games are going to happen, and Pittsburgh losing a game against Carolina makes you realize how good Carolina is. And if Pittsburgh does make the playoffs, what an uphill battle it will be to, go further than the first round, because that's who's staring them in the second round most likely is a team like Carolina. And, they're veteran. They've been the Eastern Conference Finals. They haven't been able to get to that Stanley Cup Finals, and it looks pretty clear for them right now. I get it. Buffalo's still there, and Tampa Bay's still there over in the Atlantic. So it's not going to be easy for them. But if I'm a Carolina fan, I'm looking at this team thinking, good, we're pumping on all the right cylinders, and they definitely were today. Is there anything the Pittsburgh Penguins can do? Yeah, there's a little bit I think they can do. I think Muse can change it up a little bit. I would like to see – my problem with the fourth line now is they don't have Lizotte chasing down pucks, and none of those guys can chase down pucks. Dewar's the trigger man, so he's not going to be the guy chasing down pucks. The other two guys are too slow. I'd like to see Avery Hayes get a start on that fourth line and maybe chase down some pucks and get the puck to Dewar in a good situation. Dewar's got a good shot. I think that would be a really interesting move by Muse if he could bring up Avery Hayes. So the problem is they don't have a lot of roster spots, and they're probably going to play Kevin Hayes, but he's not the guy. He's not the guy that's going to make the difference on that fourth line, in my opinion. The other thing I think they can do defensively, a game like this just highlights how soft the Pittsburgh Penguins defense is. It's pretty good. They've had Wotherspoon play up, and Shea's been playing good. And clearly, Carlson's been the MVP. But, since that Kulak trade, Letang has not been great at all. So this is since February 24th. Letang's only had 2 points since then and is at -12. That's playing mostly with Sammy Girard. He's been playing with others too. I think he played with Shea a little bit when Girard was injured for a couple games, I believe. But Sammy Girard's been nothing for us. I think the guy's too small. I don't really like his game. He's not aggressive at all. I thought he'd be able to move the puck well. But, when you got him playing with Letang can skate the puck up. So why do you need those two together? I think Muse has got to do something about that pairing. Absolutely. Sammy Girard only has 1 assist, and he is a -1 since being called up, since being traded for Kulak. I get it. You needed to trade Kulak, and I'm okay with the trade for Kulak. You get that second round pick back and all those things. Could you have kept him and, made Letang better? Yeah, probably would help in this situation. But this is the tough. These are the tough choices that Dubas has to make, and maybe he made the wrong choice there. I don't know. It's it's a 50-50 call. It's heads or tails. You could probably see it another way than I did. I wouldn't have any problem with that. But yeah, so the Pittsburgh Penguins lose today. They're 5-1 losers, an afternoon game. Don't lose hope. This was a game that wasn't a given for them. They've got 13 games left. They only need to win 7 of those 13 games to get to 100 points. I'm fully convinced if they get to 100 points, they will absolutely be in a playoff position. Like I said, the Islanders lost yesterday. So, the Islanders are sitting at 83 points, and Columbus is playing well. Well, they got it pretty tough at the end of the season. So, they got a tough stretch coming up. They're playing against the Islanders. It might be tonight too. So, that's a game that definitely keep your eye up on. The one thing you don't want from that Columbus New York Islanders game tonight is it to go to overtime and the Islanders win it, because that's 3 points and that puts both of them within 1 point of the Pittsburgh Penguins. I know there's still 13 games left, so it's a little early to be scoreboard watching, but those are the things that I'm looking for. And who am I, by the way? I'm the Hockey Jesus. I'm here. I do a show with my friends, Mark and Chris. We're here every Monday night at 7 o'clock, giving you all sports Pittsburgh Penguins. I personally love the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's why I'm coming to you after every single Pittsburgh Penguins game. There are only 13 left, so I got 13 more to go in the playoffs. I'll be here for the playoffs, even if the Penguins aren't in. I'll be here after every single Penguins playoff game, should they make it that far. But Pittsburgh Penguins are 35-35 on the season with 86 points, 7 wins to the promised land. Let's get there, Pens. They got Colorado coming in Tuesday night, and looks like they play Thursday at Ottawa. Those are 2 tough ones. You got to steal a point or 2 out of one of those 2 games. No doubt about that. So, hey, come and see us on Monday night. I'll catch you then. Until then, check out that New York Islanders Columbus game tonight, and I'll see you in the next one.